Hello, and welcome to this brief tutorial on Genially for Education. The very first thing I would tell you to do is make sure you sign up for a Genial Education account so that as a teacher or an educator, you do get the free upgrade. It doesn't give you all the premium features, but it definitely gives you more than the basic version. So, when you log into Genially, this is what you'll see. What Genially is a great app for developing content that goes far beyond a Google slide or a PowerPoint. It literally makes everything you create interactive. Think of it as ThingLink, if you've used that, with significantly more content and capabilities. Now that you've logged in and created your account, you should have a home screen that looks pretty similar to this. You can create from scratch, and that's what I'm going to show you today, just so you can learn about all the tools. However, I will say that Genially has an exceptional amount of templates under the Templates button that gives you everything from games, quizzes, presentations, and so much more. It's got a ton of great stuff in here, so don't feel like you have to create everything from scratch. However, for this to teach you how to use the different components of Genially, we're going to go ahead and create one from scratch. So as you load one or create one from scratch, you get this nice little icon of the paper, rock, scissors playing, and you'll get a blank screen like this with the little Genially logo in the bottom left corner. Now it's going to normally start you out in the Pages tab, which is the very bottom option on the left side of the screen. This is just simply so you can see all of your pages. This gives you a view pretty much like you'd log into Google Slides, where you get to see all your slides down the left. Now, the cool part about Genially is it can just be a single page. Most of what I create is a single page, or it can be multi-page. So now that we've figured out where the pages are, if you do need to add more pages, it's just simply this little button at the bottom that says Add Page, and you can add as many as needed. So that's all you do to create more pages. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to work my way around these buttons on the left out of order. I'm going to go to background next. So the background allows you to do a couple different things. At the top, you will see canvas and base. So the base, if I pick something, I can just pick a random one from the library here. It actually creates that image around the outside of my Genially. Think of it as like a big border. Very rarely are people going to see this, so it's not even that important. You can leave the base as white if you want. What we want to focus on is our canvas, because that's actually what we're going to be building and what people are going to be seeing. So they've got a whole bunch more. You can upload your own image. You could stick with base colors, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to throw these bricks on there. So there we've got our canvas set and ready to go. The next thing we need to do is add some basic structure to it, some basic things. Now you can just click on the text on the left side here, and you've got all these different text options, and it works kind of like Google Docs. You can just click what you want, and you can drag it on here, and you can then add whatever text you would like. And then you have all the options across the top to change the font, change the size, bold, colors, all of that. So it doesn't show up real well. Let me see if I can find a color that shows up a little better on there. And I will bold it. I don't know if that's going to show up. No, not too much. But you can do this with all your text. You can add all these different options, as well as some custom text designs down here that are more similar to, say, what you'd find in Canva. The next one is the Images tab, and it works almost the same way. You can either upload your own image if you have one, or you can import these images that they've got here. So I can go to Show More, I can search, I can find all kinds of images, and I can just drag and drop. Once I've drag and dropped them, I can adjust the size and things like that. So that's the Images tab. Next down is our Resources. Now here they've got just a lot of basic stuff. You've got icons, shapes, connectors, so you've got your arrows, you've got some illustrations, all kinds of different things that you can drag and drop. So if I want to drag and drop some illustrations down here, I can. They've got a whole bunch more that you can choose from. I'm not going to go through this in any detail because I could be here all day talking about all the different resources that they have here for you. But it's a great place to look if you just need things. They've even got tables, graphs, all kinds of different things. This is all pretty similar to what Canva gives you. What the next step that I want to go into is interactive elements, because this is really what sets Genially apart from Canva, is these interactivities. So there's a few things you've got here. You've got content navigation, effects, time, try your luck, trending, and buttons. Now, most of the time, I just live in the buttons, but every once in a while, it's kind of cool to play with some of the other features. For example, if you want to add some effects to this, all you have to do is just grab one of the effects and drag it onto your screen. Now, when you see it on your screen, it doesn't really look like anything is happening here. You can see the little thing is moving, but what we want to do is go preview here. And when we preview it, you'll see it. Now, if I click on it, so again, if you want, you can always preview by clicking the little eyeball up here. And then to get out of the preview, you just click on edit again and it'll drop you right back to the bottom. The other kind of cool thing about the preview is in Genially, it will show you what it will look like in desktop, but it'll also show you what it's going to look like on a mobile phone. So you kind of get two different options there in the preview screen. So you can add things like that that are interactive. But I think even more importantly is adding different buttons and things. So they do have timers if you want that. But I'm going to show you just the basic functionality of the buttons because I think this is by far the most versatile and useful. I'm just going to randomly grab an icon here. You can match whatever buttons you want to what you're doing. I'm going to drag one on. And just for this, I'm going to make it quite a bit bigger so that you can see this button. So now if I click on this button, I have a few different options across the top. I can lock it so that nothing can be changed. So when I get it set up exactly how I want to lock it. But then I have this next one, which is add interactivity. This looks like a little finger pointing at the button. So if I click on the add interactivity, I can tell what happens when a person clicks on this button in my Genially. I can have it open a new window, show a tooltip, play audio, all these different cool things it'll do when somebody clicks on it. So if I do like open a new window, it gives me all these templates I can use. And the cool part is you can actually add a window that has text and an image in it, such as this one, that has interactive elements within the window as well. So you can even go very deep and multifaceted with this. It's pretty cool and it has a lot of flexibility. So the other cool thing you can do, once you've picked out what you want it to do, you can link it to another website, you can play audio recordings, you can embed videos. There's all kinds of amazing stuff you can do in these little interactivity buttons. But the next one you can do is if you see next to it, it looks like a little comet shooting. This is you can edit animation. So this tells me what happens to this button when I open the screen. So I can choose to have it on entrance. It just shows up. It slides in. I can also have it do something if the mouse hovers on it or if somebody clicks on it. So for example, I want to do, when somebody hovers over it, I want people to know that this is an interactive button. So when they hover over it, it's going to do something. And in this case, I want it to do a heartbeat. So whenever somebody puts their mouse over it, it will do a heartbeat. So let me pop into the preview. And now when I hold my mouse over it, it's going to beat like a heart. That lets me know that it's interactive. Now also while I'm on this screen, you'll notice that up in the upper right-hand corner of my Genially, there's like the little finger. If you click on that, it will highlight all of the interactive components on the screen. So if you have a lot of interactivity, I have some of these that have 8, 9, 10 or more different interactive components. You might want to tell your students or whoever is looking at it that they can always start by just clicking the Show Interactive Element button, and it'll light up all the things that are interactive so that they don't miss anything. So as we come back here, there are so many different interactive elements you can add to it. And once you've got the interactive elements, you can then tell it what you want it to do for the interactivity. You can customize the animation. If you ever want to just change the button, say you've already programmed it, everything's wonderful, but you're like, you know what, that's just not the right button for me. You can go over to this last one, which is replace, and it will allow you to choose a different button, but it keeps all of the programming, all of the functionality is all still there. So this is a really cool thing you can do. You can add as many of these as you want to. The next component we have is interactive questions. I will tell you that it's got some functionality here. You can just like true, false, multiple choice. However, you can't get the data from it unless you are a premium member. So I'm not going to focus on this right now just because it's not real useful. The next component is our smart blocks. This is actually pretty cool because it has a ton of different things you can use that would be straight out of maybe your Google Docs or Google Slides. It's got a lot of different components that are already made. You just have to add your own text. So if you want something kind of cool, you can do this. Doesn't really show up really well on this background. You know what? I don't like this background, so I'm going to go and change it really quick. I'm going to change my canvas to something a little more basic. I'm just going to make it a simple color. There we go, so that all my stuff shows up. So go back to the smart blocks. Now you can see I've created kind of a little step-by-step timeline here. You can add maps. You can adjust the size. You can adjust the text on them. So much of this is customizable. You can really add anything you want. If you want a data table, this is kind of cool. You can actually create a data table. You can adjust the data that's in the table. Make it a little more interactive for your students. If I wanted to, I could make this button, I could make it a new window, and inside, I'm going to make it blank just for now. Inside, I could add this table so that when kids click on the button, it pops open my table. So now it looks a little different. I'm going to go back to my page here, and I'm going to click on preview. Now, if I click here, it's going to pop up this window with this cool chart in it. So I don't have that chart filling up my screen right here, but my students can click on it and get to it very, very easily. Another thing to kind of keep in mind is when you're doing windows inside of Windows, so if I'm here, if you get this stuck on this screen, especially if you're zoomed in like this, you can struggle to figure out like, hey, how do I get out of this screen? What you need to do is just keep zooming out until you see back to page, and then you click on that, and it'll take you back to the beginning. That's kind of an important step that took me a little while to figure out. But that's all of the interactivity for smart blocks. There's so much there you can add. The next thing we're going to focus on is the insert, because this does give you the ability to add images, audio, video, and social media stuff if you'd like. This is a great place. You can just upload your own images. You can add some audio. You can record yourself. It has a little recorder at the bottom. It's a 10-minute max. So if you want to create your students a little like guided narrative through your Genially that runs in the background, you can absolutely do that here. You would just go down, record your audio, and then you'd come up here where it says add background audio, and you would just go in, and then you could do your audio recording here, and it would allow you to add it. That covers most of the basic stuff of how to create a Genially. There's so much complexity and so much you can do with this that I would definitely recommend just diving in and start playing with it. Once you get to the end, you can always click the preview button, the little eyeball up here, check out what you've done, check for all the interactivity, make sure everything works. But then the coolest part is, how do you share it? So you want to go to present, and you want to make sure that it's set to public online. You can change the title, you can give it a description. When it's all set, you're just going to click all set. And then if you click on the little share button, you can do a couple different things. You can get the link, so you could just share the link. Or even better, one of the things I love is you can go to insert, and you can get the iframe code for it. You can just copy, open a Canvas page or a Canvas assignment or anything else in Canvas, go to the HTML editor, paste it in there, and your Genially will show up inside your Canvas page or assignment, and all the interactivity will still function. Everything will function just perfectly built within Canvas. So students don't even have to leave Canvas to come over here and check it out. So I hope this helps. It's a very, very brief overview. Dive in, play with it. It's got a lot of cool stuff. Enjoy Genially.